Greetings, fellow mortals. Just a reminder saying it's just my opinion is for cowards. Of course, some people will be mad at me for what I say. Have you met people? If my schedule is accurate, and I think it is, this video will be released on the morning of November 10th, the day Captain Marvel 2 comes out. Because, let's face it, that's basically what the Marvels is. Captain Marvel 2. Which is fine, whatever, we knew it was coming out. I'll be honest, originally the character annoyed me compared to the other characters in the MCU. She seemed flat, strangely hostile towards everyone, and like she didn't even want to be there. But, because that's the new norm with the MCU, it's fine. Whatever. I honestly do not care at all. But that could actually be a problem too. I have developed a policy for myself. I try not to talk about pieces of art that I absolutely hate. I don't get anything out of it. I don't really enjoy hating things anymore. It just makes me sad. But I honestly don't care that much about the MCU right now. The Marvels could be a major success with all of the money and all of the praise, or it could be the worst MCU film ever. And it won't change anything about how I feel. I will just shrug and go along with my day. It's pretty much that way with almost every single MCU project right now. Did you know that Loki Season 2 was out? I heard it multiple times. I see advertisement for it all the time when I'm online, when I'm out with my friends, when I'm at the gym on a step climber, and it is literally on a television right in front of me, but I always forget about it 5 minutes later because I have other things to do and more important things that I care about.
Okay.
Look, if you enjoy this new wave of content, I am honestly happy for you. Happiness is a rare thing in this world. Grasp it. Treasure it. Don't let other people ruin it for you by pointing out what they don't like about it. For me, though, it's literally nothing. No negativity, no positivity. Just a void of no emotions. And that is a shame because I used to really care about the MCU. It's how I understand how Star Wars fans cared about their franchise. Not my thing, but good for you. Honestly, I remember after the Avengers came out, I thought the MCU was the coolest thing ever. Of course, I was a teenager at the time, but I did care a lot. It's weird to think that such emotions have died down after years of being bombarded with whatever the MCU is doing right now. I don't even have a desire to go back and watch the original films again. Not even my favorites, the Guardians films. This does not happen with things that I love. The Shining, The Dark Knight, Spirited Away, I can watch them endlessly. But they at least ended. That's the key. Everything has to end. If it doesn't, there's no meaning. It's like immortality. What is the point of life if it isn't finite? No joy, no fear, no emotion, no art. But love of storytelling. What about Dr. Sleep? Isn't that a sequel to We Do Not Talk About Dr. Sleep in this house?
Well, time to erase that forever.
Honestly, I think the way to help the MCU would have been to actually take a break from it. How can I miss you if you don't go away? Instead of giving it a break, Marvel just put out the most mediocre collection of films and television shows that I've ever seen. Even the good ones like WandaVision and Loki had me pausing and saying, wait a minute, that doesn't work, it doesn't make sense. Do not think about it. It's never a good sign when a piece of entertainment has to ask me to stop thinking about it for me to enjoy it. I think popcorn films deserve a little bit more. I even have mild problems with John Wick 4 with how John just got all over the place. How did he hide from the table and get to those locations? I don't know. Special contacts? Morpheus helped him? Whatever. You could have just threw it away with one single line, but nope, don't care. Don't think about it. It's like with Pacific Rim. Why did the little girl carry the shoe? I get it was symbolic, but why didn't she just drop it? You were being chased by a monster. I would have dropped the damn shoe even if I was a kid. You stupid pieces of shit. Anyway, the small details do count. They start adding up quickly in writing if you're not careful. Each misstep burns the goodwill of the audience. With John Wick, most people get over the small details because of the major things that are done so perfectly. Pacific Rim, well, it was fine, but made sequels impossible. And the MCU just killed all of the goodwill that it spent a decade building up. I'm not even mad. At most, I feel a tinge of sadness slip out from the blanket of indifference. Disney constantly hit us with mediocre content after mediocre content. There were a few good things and moments, but they were overshadowed by everything else. Perhaps it would have helped if Captain Marvel herself was beloved, but she doesn't have much of a personality or dreams or flaws or regrets or likes. For example, let's do a little test. How would Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and Captain Marvel act at a baseball game eating a slightly burnt cheeseburger? Tony would roll his eyes and take some small bites out of the food and moan about the difficulties of it all like this is the end of the world. All the while, he would be making it sound hilarious. Steve would quietly and happily be eating the cheeseburger while remembering the games of the past, maybe even telling stats to the people around him. Thor would scarf the burger, demand more, drink a lot, and proclaim how they could make baseball better by adding more violence to it. And Carol, well, she would probably have RBF and act like she didn't want to be there, like every other scene she's in.
Look carefully at the "I really wish I weren't here right now" button.
This might seem petty, but understanding a character adds to your investment into them as people. I know it's the most misogynist thing ever to want to know more about this female character. The MCU was built on understanding and caring about these characters, wanting to see them interact. Just look from the original Iron Man film up into the Avengers. Even something as simple as Captain Marvel having a green thumb and loving plants could help. Noting the types of trees in a nearby park. Maybe she's a foodie, comparing the burger to other things that she's eaten recently. Maybe she's a nerd who views sports through the lens of physics and stats. Maybe she's a sports nut and gets along well with Steve. Maybe she doesn't have any interest in sports and is just there with her friends, but she's really big into reading, so she has a book out the entire time. I'm just saying, the writers, the directors, and the actress have not brought a whole lot of personality there. She's the strongest, okay? What else? Nothing besides being a stoic badass? Oh, okay. It kind of feels like beating a dead horse at this point, but the MCU is the one bringing this character back, so they want us to like her. There's a million small ways to do it. For the love of God, just give her a lesbian love story already and just be done with it. Just something, anything to make her interesting, or do what my best idea is. How do you make a woman who's always in a hurry and completely impatient the most likable and understanding person that you can imagine? Easy, you just make her a mom.
Larry, what the hell are you doing?
Larry, you can't just...
Oh, Larry! Oh, are you alright? How did...
Oh no, I'm full of hate just for suggesting such a thing. It's not like the majority of the population is a parent. It's not like we all got here through that. But yeah, there are ways to make us care. It's really easy. Just put some personality in there other than just pretending like she's the most important person to ever exist. But at least she is the only well-known female Avenger with powers. Or at least the only one that didn't lose her mind and went on a mass murder spree for her imaginary children. So it makes sense that Kamala Khan idolizes her. That part makes sense. I don't know the real-life personality of my favorite athletes. That's way different than fictional characters who are fake. And you know what? I have a soft spot for Kamala Khan. If you've seen any of my videos on her, you know that I think that she's a character with a lot of potential. I really like the idea of her. The writing in the comics has always been bad though, and the show is obviously young adult novel levels of writing aimed at teenage girls, which is fine, I don't care, but it doesn't exactly endear to the original fans, adults, teenagers, mostly male, different core audiences, and I don't think Ms. Marvel was that popular with the target audience, so it's kind of at an impasse. Kamala Khan is not a bad character, she's full of personality, but it's just not aimed at me. I'm love of storytelling and I'm not watching Disney Channel.
Oh, I made myself sad.
With Nick Fury ruined by the show, I kind of wish that they just killed him off. Leave him be, let us remember him fondly like Tony and Steve until they bring them back for the next Avengers movie. Oh God. And I have no idea who this new character is. Maybe I'm not as knowledgeable about the comics as I thought. She could be great, but if this is an origin story for her, they should probably do a better job with it. So we don't have any characters that we know and love and are invested in right now. We have too much mediocre content, and we really don't have an overarching story that we care about. These multiple multiverse stories just break the lore, make us question what's going to be changed and why we should care, because it's not going to matter soon. The main new baddie has been beaten to a pulp many different times. There doesn't seem to be any stakes, any chance of death or defeat, or meaningful character development. In fact, we've gotten to the point where Marvel is ready to shatter Endgame by bringing the OG Avengers back. Please don't do this. This is not comic books. It's film. It does not translate as well. Bringing characters back from the dead doesn't really work well in comics, so why would it work well in movies? It's all a recipe of indifference. Say what you want, but I haven't been hearing anything about this film online other than questions about why no one cares. Hardcore MCU fans are not pumping it up as the best thing ever made. There isn't even the trolls and the misogynist comments from before. It's all indifference. No emotions. No one caring. And that is way worse than hatred. Hatred means attention. Hatred means money. Indifference in art means pure death financially. You're welcome to disagree with all this. That's fine. After all, everyone is entitled to their objectively wrong opinion.
Nobody cares. Nice hat.
Hey, do you like stories about an interconnected world? Then consider giving my LPCO books a try. They are all connected in some way, but you can jump in at any point, unless it's a series. Then you have to start at the beginning. But I got 3 books out right now and 3 coming next year. You will not have to wait long for content. Either way, thank you. I appreciate you. Do not despair.